Good evening and welcome to a new episode of To The Point, where we discuss the most important and hot topics available here and around the world. And right now, the hot topic is climate change and combating climate change, as seen through the UN General Assembly's meetings in New York about climate change and preparations for the COP27. We're going to be discussing the preparations for COP27 and the effects of climate change on the world, especially poorer countries. And joining us this evening to talk to us about this and the importance of tackling this issue is Dr. Jailan Sharaf, a former Dean of the Mass Communications at Suez University and the General Secretary of 1 Million Youth Volunteers for Climate Adaptation. Good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening to you and to your audience.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Oh, thank you. I'm so welcome to be there with you.
First, can you explain to us why things are taking a more serious note right now when it comes to talking about climate change? We're seeing a lot of meetings about it.
Yes, let's say that we are now counting down.
Yes.
After 46 days, we are going to have the great event, which will be the COP27, which will take place at Sharm el-Sheikh, where
Yes.
it will be the green city as a model for green city.
Yes.
It will be due to the agenda, it will start 6th of November. I think that this is very important because this will be an implementation for the COP21, which started at Paris, where
Yes.
the Paris Agreement 2015.
Yes.
That how we are going to face this important issue, which is the climate change, because
Yes.
it's affecting the life of the millions of the people or living the livelihood of all of us. So it's very, very important issue, and I think at COP27 we are tackling very important issues like adaptation and resilience, how we can reach zero carbon, and how we can enrich Africa with jobs.
Yes.
By other words, how we can make Africa can emerge green.
Yes.
As you know, that there is a problem at Africa, and the main point, or to the point, as due to your episode,
Yes.
Africa is a very important issue that it will be on the table during COP27. Also, the financial is also one of the points of the agenda at COP27.
Yes.
How we are going to finance and to invest in climate. So that means that we should form or motivate to have investment in climate
Adaptation
projects,
and energy.
yes, and also ventures. I think also the medication, how we can, the private sector and the companies, what the action that they are going to take.
Yes.
Also, it's very important to talk about agriculture and food security, as food security is one of the important issues, because this is all of us are going to face coming soon.
Yes.
As these are 4 dimensions,
Yes.
how we can availability of food, accessibility, utilization of food,
Yes.
and how to sustain food is very, very important issue. Also, technology and innovation.
Yes.
How we can use technology or how we can innovate. That means that all the governments, the corporations, the finance, business people, civil society, also the private sector, and also the public sector, all of them should collaborate with each other for seeking solutions.
Yes.
That means that COP27 is the implementation for COP26, which has been taken place at Glasgow last year.
Yeah, you brought up several important points here when it comes to Africa, food crisis, and dealing with the climate change itself, which was also brought up yesterday in the United Nations Assembly by the General Secretariat, who was talking about in the very near future. In fact, this winter, we may very well find severe food issues and shortages because of climate change and because of conflicts as well. He spoke about the possibility, like you were saying, of finding ways to fund adaptation towards climate change by taxing, fossil fuel producers, to use this tax money to somehow, help poorer countries deal with climate change. Do you think this is something that is viable and doable?
Yes, although that Africa is only being part of this pollution or green emission pollution with only 4%, approximately 4%.
Yes.
But this area, this continent is very rich as well with raw resources, with land. So we can boom with this. We can invest in Africa. We can start, because also there are a change in the climate, in the weather. So there are areas that can be warm, so we can plant in it, so we can find solutions for irrigation. Also, we know we have reduction of water.
Yes.
So also we should find resources for watering, irrigation, how we can find from the wells, how to can dig wells. Yes. And start to make desalination of the sea in order. So this area is now very brand new, so you can start to invest in it. Yes. Start to plant, start to find food. So this will be the place where you can export food to the other countries, to yes. European, especially that European at winter, it will be for them a crisis.
Energy crisis, yes.
Yes, energy crisis due to the the problem or the crisis between Ukraine and Russia.
One of the issues that the Egyptian government has spoken about is that they want to be representatives for the African continent. Yes. Because the African continent, despite, like you were saying, is an only 4% emitter of carbon dioxide. Yes. But it will be the hardest hit continent when it comes to climate change. Do you think that developed countries should bear the responsibilities, I suppose, to poorer countries like countries in the African continent?
Yes, because if we refer back to last month, yes. at the last week of August, there was the week, Africa Climate Week, where Foreign Minister Shukri were attending this, and he talked about climate justice for Africa. And we should advocate, we as Egyptian, as Egypt, we should advocate Africa. We will be the voice of Africa in COP27. And also the African countries should find justice climate, because they are not they are not part of this pollution or this crisis. So they should compensate by that. The developed countries should help them, should finance these projects. And also President Sisi asked the developed countries to give what they promised to the African countries by, I think, $100 billion, yes. that they should give it to the African countries in order that they invest in projects, in green projects, especially green projects, so that we can afford this crisis and to compensate yes. these countries.
There's also talk about severe, weather conditions, especially in the last 2 years or so. We're starting to see severe droughts, yes. flooding, like we've seen in Pakistan. Do you think that the intensity and severity of these climate variations are going to increase in the next few years?
I think so, because we are seeing different weathers. Yes, as we see that last year we have a different winter weather. We didn't see it for years. Also, we are facing the global warming so we are not sure what is going to become, so we should be ready for that. As the forecasting says that it will be a severe winter for the European countries, and this also maybe affect us, because we are affected by this in as we
on the Mediterranean, basically.
Yes, Mediterranean area can be affected by that. So that means that we will seek food, seek energy. That's why we should, as I mentioned, to start to have a new way how to renewable energy, for example. But Egypt started. Yes. We started these things 2014 to have projects how we can face this crisis by renewable energy, how we can make energy from the wind, how we can irrigate. That's why also we started to look for industrial ways how to, for example, extract things from the waste for the thatcher. Instead of burning the thatcher of the rice,
Yes.
we started to use it in producing the artificial wood. So that means that we can export this. Can be as a reward for investing in this way.
Yes.
Also, we started to plant wheat. We started to start to make the deserts, to plant it, to irrigate it in different ways, in
Yes.
artificial ways. So now we started really before the Paris Agreement, how we are going to face this, how we are going to sustain
Yes.
food in order to face the climate change.
Yes.
That's why COP27 is very important, because as we said, it's an implementation, it's execution. What we are going to do, the projects will take in place, especially it will be green projects, that we are how to reach zero carbon. So this is very important summit or event that it will taking place at Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes.
That's why all the eyes are focusing on what is going to take and what
COP27.
will be the recommendations of the end of this COP27.
Yes.
As it will take, I think, approximately 2 weeks. It will
Yes.
take an extension time in order that we should get solutions
Yes.
after this great event.
The talk right now for this year is, and the year after, is that there will be a food crisis, a global food crisis, especially because of the Ukraine-Russia war.
Yes.
And the Europeans are very scared about it. But the reality is that the poorer countries are the ones who are truly going to suffer from the food crisis, because it seems that the distribution of food generally
Yes.
is disproportionate. How can we, as a planet, try to divide this equally?
You know that already African countries, especially those in the south, they are suffering from food, lack of food. And we see that with the civil war and the gangs and all these problems that they are facing already. So now with the crisis between, or the problem between Ukraine and Russia, as you know, Russia is a main source for exporting wheat
Yes.
and natural gas.
Yes.
So it's two important issues for the European countries, that they are not going to be, they are not going to have natural gas for warming.
Yes.
Because as we mentioned, that they are going to face a severe winter. So this will also, they will not be able to plant. Also the wheat, they are not going, Russia will not export to them wheat, as we already knew this from the news stories. So this will affect them, and will mean that we are going to there will be change in the market, there will be change in the prices, and this also will affect us. So this is very important that we should have solutions. What we are going to do, what are the projects that will be taken in Africa. As I mentioned, Africa could be green. That means if we started to invest already, or start to have the projects in Africa to make it green, that means we are going to have sustained food for a long time. That we should have plans not for this present, no, to be for the future. That's why when they set the agenda for sustainable development, they set the agenda for Africa to 2063.
Yes.
All the countries make it for 2030.
Yes.
But for Africa, it is extended to 2063, because we know that Africa needs finance.
Yes.
Needs that the developed countries should affect their promise for the African countries. They should donate, should invest, should find a project. This will make people will work, people will live. They should find solutions how they can make energy, renewable energy from solar energy, or from the wind, from natural gas. Thanks God that we already find Zohra field where it's now we have natural gas. This will also help Egypt that we can import to them.
Yeah, but
to export to them natural gas.
The worst day of a food crisis for Europe is nothing compared to the daily famines that we see in a lot of other poor countries. the issue really is that even if there is a food crisis, again, we're going to see an unfair distribution of food
Yes.
in poorer countries who already have famines, who already have starving people. Do you think that this trend is going to continue, especially since we've seen it not only when it comes to food, but when COVID hit, the
Yes.
vaccines were unfairly distributed first to the developed countries and then to poorer countries and so forth.
Yes. Also, the pandemic has been affected Africa because you know that we have lockdown, and many institutions and many corporations already locked down and moved. They started to move to another countries due to this pandemic and Ebola before the COVID-19. So the African countries have no justice. So it's very, very important that we support these countries. And we as Egypt, as you know, we are going to be the voice of Africa. We should support them because also we are the key to them. As you know, we already, President Fattah Sisi was the head of the African Union. And when he finished his time for that, he promised that he will never leave Africa because we are part of Africa and we are the heart of Africa. We are the key to Africa. That means that all the investors, when they are going to invest in Africa, they should pass by Egypt to go through in the heart of Africa. That means we should all collaborate. We should all help in surviving these people because they are human beings. They are like us. And all of us are going to be impacted and affected by this crisis, so we should all be hand in hand. It's a human right.
Yes.
Before it's that we are developed countries and undeveloped countries. We should all, that's human right, that what we are asking for, and also this is part of the sustainable development.
Yes. There's a saying that, you know, Latin America is basically the lung of the planet itself.
Yes.
Do you think that this is also going to be on the agenda, the focus of reforestation of jungles and forests in Latin America?
Yes, because you know, as there is the forest firing, and this is also this is very, very important. As you mentioned, the forest is the lung for the climate change. It's very important. Why? Because it extracts the carbon dioxide and then we can exhale the oxygen. So it's very important to keep this woods or to keep this forest. Also here we start to look for that in Egypt, in South Egypt, that we should have woods and forests because this will help us in order to make the balance of the climate.
It reduces also heat.
Yes, in spite of that, the firing because of the change of the weather, that's, you know, that we are now about to be in the winter, but still you are feeling hot. You are the humidity, the hot, so you still don't, you are not going to be feeling just winter is coming within the coming days.
So do you think that there will also be some sort of plan of action towards companies that produce pollutants as well?
Yes, the companies should be part of this, and they are going to be part of the meetings that, that will be taking place because they are going to have different projects. There are projects how to produce hydrogen, and this is very, very important. The green projects, and this we should think out of the box. Should have solutions out of the box and innovative solutions. How we can make this crisis to be benefit. How we can make benefit of that. And this also as you know, all the world passed by crisis, and this crisis lets you start to look for the solutions for these problems. So we should be innovative, should think of the project, and I think that in the agenda there are different projects that are going to be settled, and then these companies will be part of it. They can invest in it, and this will give a reward for them for sure, because this is already studied and there is a feasibility study for these projects. As I know that the coordinator for this COP27 will be high-level climate action, climate champion, will be Dr. Mahmoud Mohyeldin.
Yes.
And as you know, he is ex-UN bank working, and he is going to coordinate with Nigel Topping, who was the coordinator for COP26, because he will be implementing what has been taken at COP26,
Yes.
what the ideas, how we can execute it, how we can implement it. So that means that there will be economic solutions within COP27.
Yes.
If we refer to last at the beginning of this month, I think we already have prepared. We have a preparation for COP27 when we launched the IS Forum
Yes.
2022. Which is the international cooperation, how with the investment that, and also had been all the economic people or the ministers of economy were attending this, and they started to discuss what they are going to put on the agenda as a preparation for COP27. So I think that there were solutions, there will be projects, will be on the table that all these companies can take action with it.
Yes, but on a nation's level, I suppose. In previous COPs, we've seen during the Trump administration, for instance, they've completely withdrawn from COP and withdrawn their investments within the climate change initiatives. And then Joe Biden brought them back. And also China. China, one of the biggest polluters, had dragged their feet a lot when it came to certain initiatives to reduce carbon dioxide emissions.
Yes.
Do you think that this trend may change in the next COP27? I know Joe Biden is more enthusiastic about climate change, but what about China? Do you think that China may be more willing to change towards cleaner energy?
I think they will be. They are going to manage themselves, because the COP, there is a slogan will be taken with COP27, race to zero.
Yes.
That means race to zero, that we should reach zero carbon.
Yes.
So I think this is also China will be part of it. It will not be excluded from that. It will be part of it. It will help in that, in spite of all the problems that there is competition between China and USA, and we all know what's taking place between them. But I think that China will be part in the solution. They will not be excluded from these solutions, for sure.
Yes. So do you think that they will do more? I mean, I know China suffers severely from pollution as well.
Yes.
Do you think that they're going to try to reduce the emissions from their factories, or are they continuing to trend towards making a stronger economy, especially after COVID?
Yes, but they are also technologically, they are high technology.
Yes.
And they have innovations, and they are now booming in the trade, and they have artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So I think that they are going to co-op, not to be anti to what's taken, the positions that we've been taken in COP27. And I think that Egypt is playing a balanced role among all these countries.
Yes.
And at the beginning there will be a leaders summit.
Yes.
So I think this leaders summit will all the leaders are going to be on the same table. So they are going to be discuss what's going on, what will be taken, and they will take action. And I think that Egypt will be able to manage this very well, because, as you know, we have a good foreign policy.
Yes.
We have good relationships with all the countries.
Yes.
This is very good. This is very good for the political administrative in Egypt, and especially that also Shukri is playing a good role in this part. So I think he is managing that. That's why we are traveling to each country where they can make negotiations and start before the summit is taking place, or before the COP27 is taking place at Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes. Since we're talking about compensating and all of that, and also social justice, there are expectations sometimes from countries that we're all going to be equal in how much we do towards climate change. But would that be fair for countries that are underdeveloped as opposed to developed countries? They don't have the means like developed countries.
I don't think that we will reach to be equal. Because if we are saying that we are going to be equal on the to the point on actually after the COP27, we will not. It will be nonsense. We are not going. We are going to say it's not a fact. This is will not be. It will be gradually. It will not be on the spot that we are going to have equal life like the European. They already have been passed by years in order to be developed countries, but also we still are moving towards to be developed countries. We have problem. When you have sustained food, you can have economic. You will be able to finance yourself. When you are able to finance yourself, so that now you can be equal to them. But still, we don't have this. I don't think that we on the spot or within the coming years, we are going to take years till we have equal.
So the expectation of having the underdeveloped countries be more green is not something that is very possible for them, especially since they cannot finance it necessarily like developed countries.
For the undeveloped countries?
Yes, poorer countries, basically. The expectation of them going green.
I think it's possible if we take this seriously. If the governments take this seriously, if the private sector take this serious, and the private sector will be willing to take this serious, especially if all the confronting, all the obstacles are not, they are not facing obstacles while they are managing their projects there or financing there with the facilities, with the legal permissions, with all this, if we already move these obstacles and they will be able to work, they will start their projects very clearly, very effectively. That means that we are on the step. They will start, people will work, people will be able to have their food, earn money, jobs. You have jobs, that means now you can be equal, you will start to boom. There will be factories, there will be industry, but of course the factories and the industry should be, as we mentioned, to reach zero carbon, it's green projects to start implementing or start working in this area. That means at that time we can say that we can be equal to the developed countries, and the undeveloped countries start to work. But give them the chance. Give them the chance, give them the finance. The government should help the private sector, not to put in front of them the obstacles so that they can start to work.
On an individual level rather than a national level, obviously a lot of people are talking about climate change and how they on an individual level can somehow have their own footprint in the adapting towards climate change and combating climate change. Is this something that is actually feasible for someone who's poor and unable to provide for themselves?
If we return to our native life, where the farmers plant their lands and start to have healthy food and do their foods, raise their livelihood and so on, I think we can. This will be visible if we tell them back how we can use the. This is the duty of the civil society. They should work on that, work on awareness, how to aware the people, how to live. How to start to not use plastic, to start.
But I mean, you can't ask really someone who's poor recycle. I mean, they're looking for their daily food.
No, you can help them. You can help the poor people. You can go to them. Civil societies are not only working on the in the capital. They are working in the villages, in the countries, and they have already branches in every area. We should start working on that. And I knew I'm one of the civil societies that working. We are teaching people how they can make recycle of the waste, how they can not to. We should start to by ourselves, not to throw the papers, to know where you can throw the paper, where you can throw the plastic, where you can throw the glass, because we can recycle from this. Not to when we go to the beach for entertainment, not to throw the plastic, not to throw because this is will affect the fish, and this is will also make lack of food. So this is awareness. Also, this is part of the media. By all the means, traditional media and new media. No one now is not having the mobile. smart mobile. We already seen when the harvesting of the wheat, we saw on the media, on the social media, how the farmers are start to harvesting the wheat, and they are singing لقمح الليلة and so on. So they know how to use the social media. So we, as a volunteers, as the media, as civil society, we should go to these deep countries, to the farmers, to the people, to the poor people. Haya Karima is part of this. So we can use this while you are making for them their own homes, the new homes.
Yes.
You are rebuilding, now you are making the infrastructure for the villages and the countries. Make an awareness campaign. Awareness campaign.
Yes.
Now the universities can make this.
Yes.
We have now in each government we have a university. So this, the people who are, we have now something called the society is part of our academic work. How we can serve our society. So the students, the academic staff, the employees, we all can make a campaign and start to make awareness, and this help we teach the students, and the students can be an ambassador for us at their homes, at the people, their neighbors, and so on. So we should start this very seriously, not only talking in the media or talking in the university. No, we should take this by heart.
Yes.
And if you do it by heart, you will be able to reach the heart of the others, and they will be convinced about what you are saying, and they will do it.
Yes. Do you think that one of the issues that might be spoken about in the COP27 is also wildlife conservation? Is this something that is important towards climate change?
Yes, it's very important, because wildlife is very important. If they are not important, we will not be creatures of God.
Yes.
So it's very important that also because
this is at the heart of Africa, because
yes,
Africa is
because
full
you
of
can
wildlife.
make part.
Yes,
This
yes.
is an investment.
Yes.
We saw that in the films.
Yes.
You see film Africano, for example, the parks, these parks go touristic. They can invest in it. Touristic can go there. They can go and see. And this is already is found in USA. People go for parks to see the wildlife, to see the animals, to see the lion, to see the tiger, and so on. The giraffe, for example, Africa. So Africa is wealthy with this wildlife. So it's very important for them to invest in this area. It's very, very important.
And water scarcity is also an issue that they spoke about in the UN General Assembly this week. They talked about issues with water scarcity. How is this an issue? Why? I mean, we've seen recently, for instance, the river that dried up completely in France. How is this even possible, and how is this going to affect human life, I suppose, in the world?
As you know, we have the problem of the watering. That's why we are looking for another solutions.
Desalination could be a solution?
Yes,
water desalination
is a solution. This is a solution taking place from years ago, that we should desalinate water, the sea water, in order to find water for irrigating, start to irrigate in a technological way, not to waste water like before. And this also should be by individual. We should know how to use the water. We are still till date we are not using it.
We're not conserving water.
Yes, we are not conserving water well. So it's very, very important also to take that we are digging wells in order, for example, for the desert areas, how we are going to plan this. As you see, if you refer back to the desert road of between Cairo and Alexandria, it was a desert place. Now by digging wells and so on, we started to plant and irrigate it in a technological way, and now this is a plant area. So this is a model how to have Africa green.
Yes. Do you think that if the trends of droughts continue in areas like in the African continent and in Europe as well, this will increase the food crisis globally?
Of course it will affect if we do not start to
But this is really out of hand. I mean, if there's a drought, there's a drought.
Yes,
there's
a drought because of us, because you don't know how, we don't plant this area. If you don't plant, you already neglect this area, so it will be drought, of course, because you are already neglecting it. You are not using it. That's why it will not be planted. But if you irrigate it, you plant this area, you cultivate it. This means that when you are caring of it, it will give you. But it needs caring, it needs a lot of work. That's why people, when they take the desert areas, they started to plant it. When they worked on it hard, they already got green plants and so on. So they found a solution for these areas. So you should work hard. As I mentioned, this is that's why we are stressing hard on the private sector. Because private sector, when they work, they are looking for the world. What is going, what they will have, what they will gain. If I invest in this, what I will gain from this area. If I put 10 pounds, what I'm going to have at the end by 5 years. They already have visibility studies. This visibility study will tell them that if you invest in this area, you will gain millions, you will gain millions, and so on.
We're running out of time, so could you give us like your final thoughts about COP27? Do you think that there is a possibility for change and combating climate change in the future?
COP27 is the future. COP27 is the race to zero. COP27 is exclusion for COP21, which is taking place at Paris 2015. We should start. This is the time. This is a critical opportunity for all the sectors, private sector, public sector, governments, corporations, finance, civil society, to take this critical opportunity as a start for investing, for having a green Africa, for having solutions in order to live. COP27 is for the human being, is the solution for the human being, is how we are going to live for human justice.
Thank you so much. And as Dr. Jailan just said, the time is now for change and combating climate change. We have to take action, and hopefully COP27 will come up with solutions for climate change. We ran out of time for this episode of To The Point, but before I end this episode, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, Dr. Jailan Sharaf, a former Dean for Mass Communication at Suez University, as well as a General Secretary of 1 Million Youth Volunteers for Climate Adaptation. Thank you so much for enlightening us this evening.
Thank you for you, and I'm so happy with you and hope all your audience know what will be COP27 and what will the solutions and the future of COP27, and hope a successful COP27, inshallah.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to all our dear viewers out there watching. And this brings us to the end of this episode of To The Point.